Hi, I'm Wendy and I'm a nurse, and like everybody else, I'm curious, bordering on obsessed with the coronavirus. Now, my channel is dedicated to educating people, and this is what I want to do with the coronavirus. And by the way, it's two words. It's a coronavirus. It's not one word. Now, part of me is thinking about all the panic and the worry about people who aren't in China. And that makes me think about how worried and petrified people are in China. And in particular, my nurse colleagues who are working in the hospitals at the front line. So I can't even imagine what they go through on a minute-by-minute basis. So to them, I take my hat off to you. But today's video is about giving you some more tips and tricks about how you can protect yourself in general with the coronavirus. And it's looking at the people who are surviving and the people who are dying. And there is a mnemonic that they've created that they're using with pneumonia, and it's applicable with this new coronavirus, and it's how to avoid getting into that critical category. And we avoid getting into that critical category by using the mnemonic mobster. And that looks at the likelihood of mortality from people who contract pneumonia. And that's pneumonia of any sort. And this new coronavirus is following this mnemonic pretty closely. And it's more than just washing your hands and sneezing into your elbow. While those things are hugely important, it has 7 other categories that looks at who is going to end up in that critical category. So let's recap a little bit on what we know, and bear in mind that there are things that you already do know, but there might be a few things that you don't know. So the coronavirus is a group of 7 viruses divided into the alpha category and the beta category. Now, 30% of all common colds are caused by a coronavirus in the alpha category. It's the beta category that has SARS and MERS and this novel coronavirus, novel meaning new. It's 97% similar to SARS, but it's much less detectable in its early infectious period. The infectious period prior to symptoms has been explained at between 2 and 14 days. However, there is some talk now that it's as long as 24 days. It's transmissible by droplet, large and small, which means it can be aerosolized and then become airborne. It particularly likes lung and gut cells, and this is particularly important because these replicate the most often. One person can infect 4 others. It has claimed over 1,000 lives, and 43,000, more than 43,000 people are infected. And if I did this video tomorrow, those numbers would be obsolete. The numbers being reported out of China indicate that 43,000 people are infected, of which 7,000 are critical. Now, only 1% of those who are critical recover. So we can expect that 6,930 people will die of the 43,000 people currently infected. And that's a mortality rate of 19%, not the 2% that is currently being discussed by the World Health Organization. SARS had a mortality rate of 10%, and MERS had a mortality rate of 30%. But if you had either of those, you knew it, and the doctors knew it, and they could deal with it straight away. And so the ability to spread was significantly less. Now, with an incubation period that is infectious of anywhere up to 24 days before you get symptoms, you can spread it to another 4 people. And sadly, this is what we're seeing in other countries, that people are being cleared because they've been quarantined for the 14 days. They're travelling, they're going home, they're being evacuated, and then they're becoming sick because the incubation period appears to be a bit longer than the 14 days. So what makes a person go from a mild case and likely to recover to becoming serious and then critical? Okay, so this is where you use the mobster score, which is a score used to predict mortality in people with pneumonia, and it can help to improve your chances of survival. This new coronavirus is patterning the mobster score very closely. Now let me explain mobster. There are 7 categories. Each of them is weighted according to how impactful it is, and they look at a score over 12 as a predictor of mortality. So there's multi-lobe infiltrate, there's lowered immunity, there's a co-infection, there's being a smoker or an ex-smoker, there's hypertension, and there's being over 60. So let me go through all of these one by one. Now our first one, multi-lobe impact. So the lungs are made up of several lobes, and the more lobes that are infected, the less able you are to breathe and the more critical your position is. So to protect yourself, if you believe you've been in contact with someone from China or someone who's been infected, contact your health service quickly. Don't just think you've got a cold and wait for things to get worse before you do something about it. The quicker you are diagnosed, the quicker treatment can start, and the less likely your lungs in their entirety will be involved, and the more likely you are to stay out of that critical zone. Now, some viruses reduce the amount of lymphocytes, part of your immune system, and make it harder to fight off incoming pathogens. There's no information as yet as to whether the novel coronavirus does this. So the best thing you can do is to boost your immune system, and the best thing you can do is to get enough sleep. I cannot stress this enough. Your sleep and your immune system are really closely linked. Eat a healthy diet, get exercise. These are the things that are going to bolster your immune system and keep your lymphocytes from being depleted by any incoming pathogen. Now, having a co-infection, this could be anything from having a bacteria in a wee infection or having a toothache. These sorts of things lower your immune system, and it means that any other pathogen that comes in already has a fighting chance because it doesn't have enough of your immune system to fight it off. So if you've got any niggling health issue, go and get it seen to. That's going to mean that your immune system is in the best position that it can be in the event you are presented with the coronavirus. Now, smoking. Stopping smoking reduces your score on the mobster score from 3 to 2. Now, out of 12, that is an 8.5% increase in your chance of not becoming part of that critical zone. So if someone said to you, can I give you a 10% free ticket to not get the coronavirus, you would jump at it in a chance. So stop smoking and you will decrease your chance of falling into that critical category by 8.5%. And hypertension. Now that's high blood pressure, and sometimes there are things that we can't help, but there are lots of things that go to contributing hypertension. So being overweight, not exercising enough, eating a high fat, high sugar diet, generally not looking after yourself. Now, other things contribute to hypertension, and sometimes even when you do all those things, you develop hypertension. And so that's where medications come into play. So make sure that not only are you living a healthy lifestyle, but that you take your medications as your doctor prescribes them. If it says twice a day, take it twice a day. If it says take it before meals, take it before meals. do as the doctor says, and your hypertension will be under control. Now, the last one being over 60. Unfortunately, we can't help our age. Our age is our age. But if you are a healthy 60-year-old or you are an unhealthy 60-year-old, the unhealthy 60-year-old is going to score much more on the mobster chart. And if you get over 12 on the mobster chart, then you are a sitting duck for being in that critical position and not just having a mild case and being quarantined at home. So I hope this has given you a few things that you can do to put yourself in the best position in case you come into contact with the new coronavirus. We do have to look after ourselves. We do have to be aware of what's happening in our own bodies, and particularly now. But please bear in mind that while you are being aware, that you are not driving yourself into a panic situation. Excluding China and the ship off Japan, there are only 300 cases worldwide, and only 11 of those are severe. And that absolutely tells me that if you catch it in its early stages, if there is early detection, if someone can do a test on you early, that you have more than a fighting chance of not falling into that critical position, because with a 1% survival rate, if you are diagnosed as critical, that doesn't hold out much hope. But for the rest of us who are likely to fall into that moderate category, will be quarantined at home, somewhere safe, and then we can get on with the rest of our lives. So wash your hands often, use soap and water, scrub them properly, use hand sanitizer, sneeze into your elbow or sneeze into a tissue, blow your nose into a tissue. Eat regular, healthy meals, and please, please get plenty of sleep. And good sleep. You know, don't go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking waking up at 10 is a good idea. Every hour past midnight is like 2 hours beforehand. And see your GP. If you're worried about anything, give them a call. Find out what you need to do and go and see your GP. If you've got a toothache, go to the dentist. Get yourself in the best possible position you can be, just in case you happen to meet the coronavirus. And you know what? You'll be ever more fit and healthy and active for the rest of your life, with or without the coronavirus. So it's a win-win. But with the coronavirus, being healthy might just save your life. So thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, if you've learned something, please consider subscribing and join the village, and hit the bell and you'll be notified every time I upload a video. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.